What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome in to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. You're hanging out with your guy, Trace Moustakas. But if you're new here, you can call me Moose. I am so unbelievably pumped up for today's show because it is our last live show before Broncos versus 49ers. We have Broncos football to be played this week. Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. is when the game kicks off, which means we're going live at 6:30 p.m. You got to be there or be square, I think is how the old saying goes. But if you're going to be tuning in, here's how we're going to start off today's show. If you're going to be joining us, I want you to type me in the comment section down below. But I don't want you to just type it once. I want you to spam me in that comment section. I want to see where the real Broncos fans are at. I want to see who's going to ride with the country Week 1 of preseason football, a game that means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. But it is Broncos football, so I want to see how many of you can spam those me's. I'm giving shout-outs to start off today's show. Michael says me. Peter says let's go. I'm going to count that as a me. Archie Blue says, y'all got to catch me up on the Broncos. I've fallen off on updates since the offseason started. We are the place for you, my friend. We got you covered. Honey Bear, he says me. Derek says me. Kelly says me. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Thanks for joining. Mark, it's my birthday, he says. Me, happy birthday to you, Mark. How old are you, 27? Michael says, me. Lil Kennedy says me. Patrick says me. Cisco, he says me. Keep spamming those me's, guys, and I think you should notice something while you're spamming these me's. You see those crowns that are next to your name? We're going to break that all down one final time. We've done it the last couple of shows that we've been a part of. But for those who are new here, we're going to break down what the top fans mean. Happy birthday to you, Mark. Michael says happy birthday. Archie Blue saying me. Kevin Bronco Vine says me. What's up, Kevin Bronco? All right, so I got producer Dylan on the ones and the twos today. And here's what Dylan's going to do. He's going to put up this photo for you. If you have that photo real quick, that kind of breaks down the XPs, Dylan. If not, I can move it over for you in just a little bit. But essentially what these crowns are kind of showing you are who the top fans are for the stream. Now, the top fans are decided by the amount of XP that a specific fan is getting. You get XP by spamming comments throughout the entirety of the show. But the best way to earn XP, the best way to show that you're a fan of the Denver Broncos, there it is, Dilly, love it, is to super chat. It is also how you support the channel. If you guys want sweet Broncos gear, I'm talking like Bo Nix jerseys, RJ Harvey jerseys, Pat Bryant jerseys, Zach Allen jerseys, Broncos jerseys, Broncos hats, Broncos gloves, anything you want, the best way to get those items to be raffled off is to super chat and support the channel. Again, everything that you guys send in helps out tremendously. We could not do this show without you and your support. So if you do want to show your support for not only me, producer Dylan, and to hire more Chat Sports employees to do more stuff like this, maybe get a full-time Broncos producer. Sorry, Dylan. But he knows that. He knows he's Vikings and Jets. If we're able to get more money in Super Chats, then we can hire a full-time Broncos producer. And if you guys want someone to ride with me and you during our watch parties, the best way to do so is to help support the channel. I want to give a shout-out to our two-time back-to-back stream winner, a guy I like to call Boss Man Jay. I don't know if he's in the chat right now. He usually joins us, but we started a little early today because I have to go pick up my dad from the airport. I know, dad and airport duty. But he gets in at about 5:15, which means I have to leave a little bit early today. That's why we started half an hour early. But shout out to Boss Man Jay for winning those double back-to-back XP weeks. He is our Broncos top fan so far. And Dylan's going to show you exactly what this is going to look like because right now we've got a new leader on our first, or today's stream, I should say. And we're going to get it up here in just 1 second. I believe you have to put the scoreboard up, Dylan, as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Good call. Good call. Keep spamming those me's, guys. We got 45 people. There we go. That looks wonderful, Dylan. Oh, no, it went away. There it is. Oh, yeah, we can. Yeah, I see what you're doing. No problem. Sorry, guys, just a couple of technical difficulties here. But again, shout out to Boss Man Jay for back-to-back winners for the last 2 streams. He's been an unbelievable support. I've kind of connected with him a little bit outside of the live stream chat, so he's definitely trying to get into his own Broncos stuff as well, which I greatly support. Following his dreams, chasing those aspirations for sure. But again, the best way to win XP points is to make sure that you support the channel by super chatting. I got a lot of people right now that are flowing in the chat, and I absolutely love to see that. There you go, Dylan. That looks wonderful. There it is. Booyah. Look at that. So basically, what this is going to look like at the end of today's channel is somebody's going to be a part or the top of that leaderboard. And I want to see some competition today. I want to see a bunch of guys getting in that chat and flowing up, growing their XP points. So right now, in first place, the birthday boy, Mr. Mark Baker, with 75. Actually, he's tied for first with Honey Bear, who's also got 70. It's like a 3-way tie for first place. Look at that. So somebody's got to take the lead. Somebody's got to be the one that takes that stride, takes the next step, and doubles that XP up. Who's it going to be? We will wait and see. Now, on today's show, because that's why you tuned in, right? You wanted to make sure that we were talking about Broncos football. Well, I've got Broncos football ready for you. Today's episode is going to be all about the Broncos 49ers preview. That's unbelievable. Check that out. Little Broncos preview. Now, remember, it's a preseason game, so are there any real keys to victory? Not necessarily, but there are players to watch out for. Then we're going to talk about some training camp overreactions, because today was the last day of Broncos training camp practice before the joint practice with the 49ers on Thursday. And then, of course, we're going to get a little mailbag. But not before we got a DB4L Broncos Unchained Bang! $100 super chats. That's big time stuff, baby. He says, Moose, what up? Let's make it 3 weeks in a row. Gender reveal, Broncos boss baby. It's a girl. Congratulations, my friend Boss Man Jay. Check out Broncos Unchained podcast, which I did mention before. Boss Man Jay started up. By the way, guys, Boss Man Jay, he knows ball. I took a listen to his podcast, some things to work on. We talked a little bit about it for the most part. Boss Man Jay, he knows ball. His knowledge of the Broncos, unmatched. Well, I don't know about that. There's a lot of people that know and love Broncos football. I just say that kind of hyperbolically. But his ball knowledge is definitely on display. So if you want to check that out, check it out as well. We got a couple of other super chats. One from the birthday boy himself, $1. Mark. Next time, throw something in there, brother. Come on, you know the drill. You know how we do stuff. And then, of course, David T. He says, hi, Broncos world. Let's go. 55 years being a Broncos fan. DB4L. David, you are a real one. I really greatly appreciate your super chat. 55 years is a long time to be a fan of anything, let alone a football team. So I appreciate it. And hopefully, we can bring you another Super Bowl championship, a Lombardi trophy back to Denver. So one more time, we're going to go over today's show. Here's what we got on the menu. A little menu tasting for you. Very nice. Broncos versus 49ers preview. So we're going to talk about the players that we need to keep an eye on for this Saturday's game, which, of course, is coming up very, very shortly. Super excited to do my first watch party for the Broncos. Training camp overreaction. Some major headlines heading into the preseason or during the preseason, heading into week 1. And then, of course, a mailbag where you need to either use hashtag Broncos or super chat to skip the line and get yourself in the very front with all of your pressing Broncos questions. Dilly, how you feeling today? How you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling great. I mean, we're getting closer to football season.
We are, dude. Football's so back. Did you guys happen to watch the Hall of Fame game? I don't know if you guys checked that. I know it was the Chargers versus the Lions. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like 75% of those players are not going to make the roster for any of those teams. These are just guys that are like going to be training camp players that are going to get cut. But there was football. There was football. I got to be a part of that whole experience for the Hall of Fame game. Mitchell Renz, our Raiders report host, boo. He was actually on the call, so we got to hang out for a little bit. And believe it or not, there's a growing rivalry now between me and Mitch. I hope he knows that. I hope he knows we're coming for his throat this year. We want the clean sweep of the Raiders this year. Well, we want a clean sweep of everybody. But I'm telling you, I told him before today's live show, I'm like, my numbers, my fans over on Broncos country, we're growing. We're going to be a rival to you very, very shortly. Maybe not right now, maybe not this year because they're at, 196,000 subs, Dylan? But Broncos country is growing every single day, and I'm super excited for this year in specifics. All right, we got 41 people watching, 26 likes. That's over our 50% ratio. So, Dylan, what do you say we get into our preview, huh? Broncos versus 49ers. Guys, I am so fired up today. And I'll tell you why. Dylan. Broncos football is officially back. 4 days away. 4 days away. And I cannot wait. So let's get on it already. Let's get into our Broncos versus 49ers preseason week 1 preview. I know what you're thinking. First thoughts, who the hell is this guy? Well, that's Chase Sr., and he is our 49ers host. Welcome in, Broncos country, to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and I'm sure you're wondering why I have this guy on our show today. Well, he issued me a challenge. He went back and he realizes that I'm a brand new host here at Chat Sports. He went and saw the Broncos versus the Colts preview from last year in 2024, which got 56 subscribers. And he said, there's no way you can beat that. No shot in hell you come close. And I said, all right, bet. Let's do it. So I need loyal Broncos fans that love free Broncos content and who have not joined the family here at the Broncos Breakdown to hit that subscribe button right now and help me get 60 subscribers on today's show. Now let's start with the preview itself. A reminder to everyone who is watching right now. It's preseason football. There's no keys to victory. In the grand scheme of things, this is just reps. This is reps for some of the starters. It's reps for the depth players to make sure that we get back into the flow of NFL football. But that doesn't mean that there's nothing to watch. There's absolutely stuff to watch. We got rookies, right? Rookies to watch and key depth players. We're going to break down all of that on today's episode. 4 players on offense and 4 players on defense. All of which I believe are players that you need to keep an eye on this Saturday when we face off against the San Francisco 49ers. Let's start with the offensive players. First one, no surprise, R.J. Harvey. Why? He's the most exciting player I've seen in a long time, especially for a Broncos run game in 2024 that left a lot to be desired. But R.J. Harvey isn't just one of those players that's exciting. He can be a focal point, a key piece to this Broncos core on offense for years to come, which is why I cannot wait to see number 37 hit the field. And from a statistical standpoint, last year at UCF, you've seen the numbers, but I'm going to show you again. Dude's electric. Dude's a beast. I mean, not only on the ground, which is where he did most of his damage, but also through the air. His hands were a lot better than people gave him credit for. And during training camp this year, it's clear that Sean Payton is molding him into the next Joker position. So what specifically do I want to see from R.J. Harvey entering into week 1? Like, what is the one area that I believe R.J. Harvey can show me that I'll be very okay with riding out into week 1? I want to see the explosive quickness. I want to see that side-to-side, lateral, deep in your bag movement that he has basically shown on display, not only in college, but earlier on in camps. Because he is the shiftiest back in this entire class. He doesn't have the north to south breakaway playmaking power that Ashton Genty does. He doesn't have that bulldozer type effect like Omari and Hampton does. But what he does have is a deep bag. East to west, you're not going to find anyone in this draft class that's better. How do I know? He proved it. 1 of 1. Harvey gained 8.2 yards per carry on outside runs, which was number 1 in Division I football last year. Clearly, he knows how to make plays happen on the outside. So when he gets the ball into his hands, I'm looking for stretch zone runs. I'm looking for that offensive line to create holes outside of that C gap and then watch him go to work. That's going to be what I'm looking forward to seeing with R.J. Harvey come week 1. Moving on to number 2, Pat Bryant. A player that, honestly, he's really surprised me. This kid is climbing up the ranks of Broncos wide receivers lightning quick. He might not have had the explosion of growth like a Troy Franklin, but outside of Franklin, the next name outside of a Cortland Sutton, who got, of course, extended, we know how good Cortland Sutton is. Pat Bryant's name has been floated out there constantly. And the pros and cons of his game, I feel like the pros way outweigh the cons. He's got great hands. Unbelievable in contested coverage. And he's got incredible, impressive body control on his deeper routes. He's not afraid to go up against opposing corners. He'll get that jump ball, and he'll make sure he goes right on top of you. He did it to Jahdae Barron during rookie minicamp. So what do I want to see from Pat Bryant? I want to see the soft hands, baby, and the body control. What you do well is what I want to see. I want to see you find soft zone coverage. I want you to exploit that. And when that ball comes towards you, I want it to look silky smooth like you've been doing it for 5+ years. I think he can handle that. I don't need to see the explosion of yards after the catch. I don't need to see blazing speed because he doesn't necessarily have it. He ran a 4.6. But what I do need to see is the ability to run routes and your soft hands. Because year 1, having him as a wide receiver 3 option, maybe a wide receiver 2 if he's good enough, that's going to be the key for this Broncos offense. So who are you more excited to see? Pat Bryant or R.J. Harvey? I got to say R.J. As much as I'm excited to see Pat Bryant, he's an Illinois guy, I'm an Illinois guy, I got to go with R.J. He's just going to be too much fun to watch. Either way, though, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Next up, Troy Franklin. Of course, you can't have a list without Troy Franklin, right? I got to tell you, every day I am seeing Troy Franklin's name and something great attached to it. Troy Franklin had an explosive play downfield. He's had amazing training camps. It's been non-stop. Broncos media, Broncos coaches, Broncos players, all singing the praises of Troy Franklin. Somebody whose route tree is developed, his ability to break inside and outside, so his breaks have gotten cleaner, will all indicate, to me at least, that from where he was in 2024, at least from a statistical standpoint, is going to be far better in 2025. I mean, the numbers, they look awful, right? But remember, he's learning the game. So I don't need to show these and kind of explain to you how bad these numbers are. We know it. But that's the basement. That's the floor. That's the bar that he has set for himself, and it's only up from here. So what do I want to see from Troy Franklin? I want to see the route tree expansion. How deep did your bag get? From where you were last year, which was more of a speedy, shifty, quick type of player. A player that could be used in a lot of different, ways, kind of like an Xavier Worthy was last year also for the Kansas City Chiefs. But at some point, you've got to develop your route running capabilities if you want to be taken seriously as a wide receiver. And he's absolutely done that. Marvin Mims said it. Sean Payton said it. Bo Nix said it. Everybody's saying it. So he's definitely taken that next step, and he's going to be an explosive and exciting watch in 2025. The last guy on offense, yeah, I'm throwing Caleb Lohner's name in it. I have to. Listen, he's the most intriguing offensive player, especially at a tight end position, in quite some time. Not because he's got this unbelievable football IQ and acumen, but because he doesn't. He's a college basketball player. Played 1 year of college football. He is a work in progress. But Sean Payton said it himself. This is the next Jimmy Graham. The guy they're going to try and mold into the next Jimmy Graham. Does that mean it'll happen? Remains to be seen. But there's a lot of parallels. The freakish athleticism, the height that you're looking for. The dude's 6'7", long, rangy, athletic. He's got all of the characteristics and all of the physical gifts and traits that you would want in an explosive player. So what do I want to see from Caleb Lohner? How about an understanding of the position? I don't need to see unbelievable playmaking ability right now. I want to see, can you throw a block? Can you find open space? Do you not look lost out there? Remember, guys, in terms of his football playing and his football time on the field, he's an infant. He's got time to grow, and that's okay. So what do I want to see from Caleb Lohner? That you understand the position. And if you can show me that, good things are coming. Now, how about the defensive players? There's a couple of guys that I believe we really need to take a look at. Spoiler alert, a majority of them are going to be rookies. But before we get into the defensive side of the ball, my friends, 60% off. I went and double-checked. This Broncos shirt is back on sale. And it's also something that I rock on a daily basis. Not right now because everything's in the washer. Laundry day at the Moustakas household. But if you go to chatsports.com/BroncosT, better yet, just go to the comments and description of today's video. I made it super easy for you. If you go to that link and start shopping, you can find this really cool t-shirt, but also a bunch of really cool items as well. So one more time, go to the comments and description of today's video and start shopping this Broncos tee today. I just want to start off by saying, I hope you know this, I'm not choosing proven players, right? Pat Surtain's not going to be on this list. The reigning defensive player of the year, I don't need to see a lot from in preseason. I know how good he's going to be. So I'm trying to pick players that are either depth pieces that we want to see more of an expanded role from, or players that are just testing the waters of the NFL. So let's start. Jade. Of course. Duh. First-round pick, guys. I got to see him in action. I'm really excited. From the defensive side of the football, he is the number one player that I'm looking forward to seeing. Now, again, I'm not expecting the world, right? But he is going to be going up against third and fourth string quarterbacks. He should be able to eat. And from what I saw in college, I have no worries that he's not going to be just a plug-and-play player. He will be. I don't expect him to be an all-pro or a Pro Bowler year one, but I also don't think that you're going to see, the rookie growing pains that you would see from a lot of other players. He was the most NFL-ready corner, in my opinion, outside of a guy named Will Johnson. But I liked Jade's game far better because of his versatility. So what do I want to see? The coverage skills. I know you're big. I know you're fast. I know that you have playmaking ability. Keep the game in front of you. Show me that you have the ability to step in week one and hold your ground. Keep the game in front of you, don't get beat over the top, and just let the game come to you in waves. You can do that. I have no qualms against what's going on. If you're ready to see Jade Barron in navy and orange, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. I want to see him in the sunset orange. Those are my favorite Broncos unis. Either way, let me know in the comment section down below if you're ready to see him, but also hit that thumbs up button for me. The next player, Q Robinson. A player that was in full padded practice today. So he's back on the field. I'm really excited to see what Q can offer. Not just from a positional standpoint, but also from a special team standpoint, where he's most likely going to play his rookie season. So if you're thinking that Q Robinson's going to be one of these players that gets into the game quite frequently at the linebacker or edge position, you're probably not going to see that too often. But what he does offer you is an unbelievable high motor special teams player. And remember, when he started at Alabama his senior season, he didn't get that much time on the field. But when he got onto the field, he made the most of his opportunities. And I think that's what attracted him to the Broncos. I really think that this is a player that, again, needs some time to develop, but offers you so much in the energy category, so much in the high motor category, and so much upside. The Broncos felt like it would be criminal not to at least select this guy and have him have at least a role on this team. So what do I want to see? The potential to be a hybrid backer, because during the preseason, he's not just going to play on special teams. He's going to get into the game. So I want to see your ability to rush the quarterback, but I also want to see you drop back in coverage. Show me that you have the skill set, at least right now, to mold into a hybrid linebacker. If you can do that, awesome. No problems whatsoever, and you should be able to find yourself a rotational spot sooner rather than later. How about a guy that we haven't really talked about much? Savion Jones. He's an enigma to me right now. Biggest one on the team. I've literally not heard almost anything about him this entire training camp. It's like he just disappears back into the ether. But he's huge, and he's strong. He's raw and powerful. I think you've got a legitimate molding prospect on your hands, especially on this stout Broncos defensive line. At LSU, crazy numbers in 2024. 43 pressures in 1 year. He more than doubled his 2023 numbers. So it's clear he got better and better and better throughout his college season or his college years, which is what you want to see. But I'll remind you, he's had a very quiet offseason. Maybe that's his personality. I don't know him personally. But maybe he's just one of those guys that likes to get in, get his work done, and get out. I don't know. But I can tell you this. Every day we're hearing about guys like Jahdae Barron and Riley Moss and Q Robinson even. We haven't really heard of Savion Jones' name. So what do I want to see? I want to see the raw power and strength. I want to see you bully offensive linemen. I want to see you shove past opposing left tackles and right tackles. Make some havoc in the backfield. Do what you got to do. Learn from the very best at that position. Once you can do that, you've earned my respect. Our last player on this list, someone that's mostly because he's had an unbelievable training camp. Lavelle Bailey. Now, this is obviously because of, the most recent injury developments to Drew Sanders and when Alex Singleton broke his thumb and when Dre Greenlaw obviously had some hobbled injury. He's fine now, but was taken out, got a little hobbled on one play. Lavelle Bailey had to step in and prove what his worth was, and he did that tremendously. His collegiate stats, awesome. Didn't prioritize getting after the quarterback in college, didn't need to. 6 interceptions is what I'm looking at. He was unbelievable in coverage. Great coverage linebacker. So he can survey that middle of the field like you would want any middle linebacker to. So what do I want to see from him? The dual threat ability. The ability to not only drop back in pass coverage, which you're already great at, but stack the box. Show us your strength. Show us your power, your aggression to stop the run, and maybe get after the quarterback. Maybe that's not how he's going to be designed for. Maybe he's not going to be a guy that blitzes. But every time the Broncos stack the box with 8 or 9 guys, be the first one in there. Tackle by Lavelle Bailey. That's what I want to hear on Saturday. I know it's a long video. I realize that. And if you made it to the very end, type DB4L in the comment section down below. It just kind of helps shows me where my real ones are at. I want to see as many DB4Ls in the comment section as possible. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to like the video if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And as always, be cool. I am fighting off a cough, Dylan. I got a cough. There we go. Jeez Louise. Whew. Let's take a look at some of the comments here that have been going on. Don't think it only hurts the team. Oh, that's funny. Look at all those DB4Lers down there. These are the real ones, my friends. Danny's a DB4Ler. Eric Brown, DB4L. Patrick says DB4L. Archie Blue. Reb Tech. Brandon. Broncos Unchained. Back in it again. Love it. We got Patriots Today in the chat, Dylan. Saying that Drake May is better than Bo Nix. That's Brett Alper for you. It's unbelievable. That's terrible. I don't agree with that at all. All right, but here's what I do agree with. We got 54 people watching right now. We are almost at 38,000 subs here on the channel. Our goal is to get to 38,000 before Saturday. We're this close. You guys have been doing an amazing job. So if you haven't done so already and you love free Broncos content, you want to join the fans that are already currently in the chat, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me right away. But we are going to go sub-only mode. Isn't that right, Dylan?
Sub-only mode
there it
right
is.
now.
Sub-only mode right now, which means you're not going to be able to comment in the live stream unless you're a part of the Broncos Breakdown family. So, I want to see all of those guys typing those DB4Ls in the comment section down below. That's how I know they're subscribed, and that's how I know that they're real ones. Archie Blue saying ban him. Type Moose Broncos Country in the chat. That'd be funny. Spam Moose. We got Eric Brown saying DB4L. I don't want to even... What is Pago? Pago Moose from Patriots Today. Do you know what that means, Dylan? Pago Moose. Pago Moose. Honey Bear saying DB4L. Delvin saying DB4L. D. White saying DB4L. Celestial saying Moose. Mark, the birthday boy, saying DB4L. Joshua Kirby, great to see you, my brother. DB4L. Honey Bear says big moose. Well, average size moose. 5'9" moose. All right, Dylan. I think we've got a little weigh-in because I want to ask some very important questions for you, my friends. Let's get back to football for a second. 4 days. Broncos versus 49ers. Here's what I want you to do. Predict the score for me. Before we start our second segment today, I want to see as many score predictions, and I want to give the shout-outs to the one that I believe are probably most accurate. So if you say Broncos 99, San Francisco 49ers 3, I'm probably not going to read it off. But I want to see accurate predictions, hypothesis on what you believe the Broncos versus 49ers score is. I realize it. It's preseason, but it's still fun to do. Get those score predictions. Yeah, they're Archie Blue, 70-20. That's funny. That's very funny. Get those score predictions in. Broncos winning from Celestial, 31-14. Broncos Unchained says 28-17 Broncos. Patrick Garcia says 17-13. Danny says 24-10 with a defensive touchdown. I could see little Jade Barron pick 6 to the house. Delvin says 31-10. It's preseason, innit? From Archie Blue. It's preseason, innit? Alpha saying 24-13, 40. Oh, no, Broncos 24, 13, 49ers. Flowing Spider says 35-14. Broncos. Adrian says, let's go Broncos. 30-10 from Chase. 20-14 from Archie Blue. Michael saying 42-17. That's a blowout there, Michael. Joshua Kirby saying 24-13 Broncos. Stidham throws a 40-yard bomb to Franklin in quarter 2. He's a prognosticator. Got a crystal ball. I like it. Who are you stereotyping? Every single British person. It's preseason, innit? Brandon Eaton, 24-14. Broncos. Jeremy says, I'll be there, 24-10. Jeremy, send some sweet pictures, and if you could, you can email me, by the way, if you want, and send those pictures to me. That'd be greatly appreciated. I'll give you a shout-out on the show. Give you a major shout-out on the show. Patriots saying 27-13 Niners. Boo the Patriots channel. Boo the Patriots channel. They suck. All right, before we get off of this one, Dylan, or actually right after or before we start the next segment, excuse me, thoughts, words, jumbled, back on track. How about one more look at the top fans? Top fans, yes, you got it. Jeremy saying, will do, bud. I'll send the pics. He's a real one. He's a legend. He's a legend. He's a legend. Expecting big things from Franklin. Joshua, that's what I'm saying. I have not seen a wide receiver get so much praise from not only coaches, media, but also players like Troy Franklin has this offseason. It's insane. It's every practice. They're like, Troy Franklin was on fire again. This dude's in for a big, big year. I'm thinking well north of 500 yards. Well north of it. Patriot says, I know Stidham. He's terrible. Would you go work on Patriots or something? You guys have your own problems. You got injuries galore right now. And your quarterback, not nearly as good as Bo. Yeah, exactly. It's the Bills division, dude. You're just living in it. This is the year the Broncos win the West, I'm telling you. I can feel it in my bones. All right, let's take a look at these top fans real quick. Obviously, Broncos Unchained with a commanding lead. Broncos Unchained, I said that right, with 5,000 XP points. David coming in next with 325, and then Michael. So if you want to jump up the leaderboard, the quickest way to do that is to super chat. It helps support the channel. I greatly appreciate everything that you guys do, but you can keep spamming as much as you want, and that'll slowly grow your XP as well. So if you're like, I just want to sit here and comment, that's fine too. Either way, just know you're helping out the channel, and I love that for Broncos country. All right, Dylan. We got 59 people watching. You know what we're doing. You know what we got to talk about. Some training camp overreactions. Today was the last day of Broncos practice before the joint practice with the 49ers on Thursday. Now, I'm probably going to end up doing a little at-home version for you guys this Thursday because of my schedule this week. I'm off on Thursday, so I won't be here at the office covering Broncos joint practice, but I'll be getting the updates. I'll be formulating my thoughts and delivering them to you no matter what. So, with that being said, a kind of an amalgamation of everything and some pretty loud opinions, in my opinion, here on this next episode. Training camp, oh my gosh. Ooh, excuse me. Training camp overreactions on Broncos training camp. And I think you're going to like some of the headlines and storylines that we're going to be going with here as training camp takes a little bit of a hiatus. Ready when you are, Dilly. Broncos training camp has come to a halt, at least for right now. This is the last training camp practice, at least at the time of this recording, which is on Tuesday at 4 o'clock before Broncos joint practice with the 49ers. Welcome in, Broncos country, to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm Moose, and on today's episode, Broncos training camp overreactions. So how are we going to break this down? Well, I'm going to have some storylines and some questions to kind of keep into the back of your head as we head into week one. And by the way, let's get some comments spamming right now in the chat below. If you want a shout out in the next show, use hashtag Broncos right now in the comment section. If I see hashtag Broncos, there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to feature you in our next episode. So make sure you get as many as you can in the comment section down below. Let's start with the first overreaction. Jaquan McMillan, is his stock decreasing? The more and more that I read about Jaquan McMillan and the more and more that I'm reading about how good Jahdae Barron looks and how good Riley Moss looks, the more and more I'm starting to think Jaquan McMillan might be on the outside looking in. That doesn't mean he's going to get cut. But Jahdae Barron looks like he's the leader of that nickel cornerback spot. In fact, if you go back and look at some of the takeaways from Broncos training camp, he's getting cooked a lot. And again, Does that mean that he's not going to have a place on this team? Of course not. And after last season, I would have told you that he was looking in for a big year, a big, big year. His statistics were really good last year. His PFF grade, maybe not so much, but he definitely had a good enough season. 81 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 10 pass breakups, that's a great number, and 2 picks. Very good. Very good. But then the Broncos drafted Jahdae Barron. And I'm not saying his world came tumbling down because that's kind of dramatic, but it definitely created a cornerback competition. And let's go back to the cornerback ones there, Dilly, instead of the DB depth charts. And we'll continue on from there. We'll just make a quick little cut. Sorry about this, guys. A little behind the scenes sausage stuff. I'll count myself back in here in just a little bit. And as you can see, I've updated the cornerback depth chart. That's right. I updated what I believe is going to be the Denver Broncos starting cornerback rotation week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. Pat Surtain, Riley Moss, and Jahdae Barron in the slot. No offense to Jaquan McMillan whatsoever, but I think that this is Barron's job to lose. You don't draft a guy 20th overall and just have him sit on the sideline, especially with the athletic traits and field vision that Jahdae Barron has displayed. He's just too good. Period. Point blank. Now, I get it. You haven't seen him on the field yet, so how can you know he's that good? Obviously, I'm going off of what I saw in college. But what I saw in college was the best cornerback in this 2025 draft class, bar none. And in my opinion, it wasn't particularly close. He has the entire package, and he's just waiting to put it on full display for you in 2025. So that's why I believe the Jaquan McMillan stock might be decreasing. Let's move on to our second one. Savion Jones, rookie struggles? You know, this one is definitely an enigma to me. He's the biggest enigma. I have barely heard about Savion Jones this entire offseason. It's the most quiet offseason I've ever seen from a player. Think about this. We have a player that was drafted in the 3rd round, and yet, how often have you heard Savion Jones' name? Very infrequently. And he's there. He's participating. He's padded up. Yet we're not hearing very much. But I can tell you this. From a collegiate perspective, he was a dog, especially in 2024. Big-bodied boy. He's huge. And he has got the tools to become a really good starter on this Broncos defensive line. Not year 1. But could this be a potential John Franklin Myers replacement? That's what at least I think in my head. That's my first thought. Because Zach Allen under contract, not going anywhere. DJ Jones under contract, not going anywhere. John Franklin Myers is the only one that wants a new deal, and I don't know if the Broncos are going to give it to him. So if Savion Jones is that next spot, if he's that next guy up, that next man up mentality, great. I love it. But I need to hear a little bit more about you. I need to hear about the strength. I need to hear about the power. I need to hear how you're setting the tone at the edge. I need to hear how you're getting after the quarterback. Because John Franklin Myers, as good as he was against stopping the run last year, he was equally as good as getting to the quarterback. He had one of the best seasons of his entire career. So those are some big shoes to fill. I have nothing against JFM. But Savion Jones could be the potential replacement. The only main question that I've got right now on all of this is why haven't I heard his name more? But obviously, we're going to wait and see. Now, before I get into our next overreactions, I have to tell you guys about our amazing sponsor, and that is at Brunt. This Marin design is super sweet, my friends. And you don't have to sacrifice now your work boots. The style and comfort that Brunt offers is definitely something that you can get. But it's not just work boots that Brunt offers. They offer a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs. From heavy-duty work pants to leather-resistant jackets, Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any conditions. My old work boots, being down here in Texas when I go out into the yard and I'm getting my work done, they didn't offer any style or any comfort. Now with Brunt, their built tough boots feel great from day one. No break-in, no sore feet. Because the people out there doing the real work shouldn't have to choose between comfort and durability. Brunt was so tired of the workwear brands out there just cutting corners. You work way too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that just don't hold up. So they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt when you use code CHAT at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com. Use the code CHAT and you're good to go. And after you order, they're going to say, hey, where did you hear about Brunt? Do us a favor. Tell them it was the Broncos Breakdown in Chat Sports. One more time. That is code CHAT, C-H-A-T, at checkout. Go to bruntworkwear.com. I'll have all of that ready for you in the comments and description of today's video. Third overreaction. Evan Engram unlocking Bo's full potential. Evan Engram feels like one of those players that you heard a little bit about him during training camp, but because of his veteran presence, they probably weren't that worried about him. And that's kind of how I feel about the whole situation. I don't worry about Evan Ingram's ability to get it done on the field. It was more so just, can you stay healthy for a full season, which I think he will. But I do want to at least briefly mention the guys that do it the best at the quarterback level and who they have as tight ends. I want you to notice something. Mahomes and Kelsey, 3-time Super Bowl winners. Allen and Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Dalton Kincaid. Allen and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Always up there around the AFC Championship every year. Same with Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. And then, of course, a pair that has also made a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy and George Kittle. Purdy might not be elite, but he and Kittle are definitely a formidable twosome. So what's something you notice here? All of the good quarterbacks or elite quarterbacks have solid, awesome tight end options to go to. And that's where Evan Engram comes in. He is going to be the missing link for this Broncos passing game. Something that Bo didn't have last year. No offense to Adam Troutman, but if he's your number one, it's a problem. Evan Engram is going to be the guy that gets it done over the middle of the field. If he can have even 80% of what he was able to do in 2023, I think it's a home run. It's an unbelievable signing. 2024, yeah, he had an injury. 9 games played. But it's still way better than anything any of the other Broncos tight ends had. So this could be the one piece that Bo Nix needs to be unlocked. And it could be the next thing that Evan Engram needs to get back on track. Ingram's role in this passing offense is the most important in 2025. More so than Cortland Sutton. More so than Troy Franklin or any of the young Broncos wide receivers currently on this depth chart. How do I know that? Well, I can tell you from the early down targets chart last year. The tight end target percentage was only 14%. That's terrible. You want that to be over 20%. Because the ultimate safety blanket is your tight end. It's like that for every elite quarterback. And Bo last year, too many times, had to check it down. Look at that. The RB target percentage was 22. Let's flip-flop those numbers. Make the tight end targets 22%. The check down number of your running backs, 14%. If you can do that, that opens up play action more. It opens more opportunities then for your run game, and it's all a trickle-down effect. It all bleeds into the one same overarching umbrella of offensive efficiency. So I'll ask you this question. It feels kind of like an out there sort of deal, but you know what? It's fun to ask on this show. Will Evan Engram make a Pro Bowl in 2025? Yes or no? I'm undecided right now. I'm leaning towards no, but I think it's right there on the fence. I think it's going to be a really fun duo to see in 2025. But either way, let me know in the comment section down below. Last but not least, RJ Harvey taking over the running back 1 spot right away, ? Relax. This one feels like it's definitely an overreaction. The reason I put this here is because I got a message from a viewer last night of the show who was like, is RJ Harvey already running back 1? And I was like, what are you talking about? It's because ESPN came out and kind of dropped a chart. I know this is really tough to see, but this is the way too early depth chart that ESPN put out for the Broncos in 2025. Notice something. ESPN has Harvey as RB1. Again, I think they got this wrong. At least for week 1. J.K. Dobbins is clearly going to be your week 1 RB1. Remember, Sean Payton has a rotation of backs for different packages, so there's not necessarily a specific lead back in this offense. It's more of a rotation for different packages. But make no mistake about it, J.K. will be listed as RB1 come week 1. He's way too experienced, he's way too talented, and there's a reason that you brought him in. However, I do want to say that it's probably not as far off or as far-fetched as you could possibly think. Like, we're not waiting until week 14 to see R.J. Harvey as RB1. It's probably going to be a more 50-50 even split. Now, this is one of those guys that's not a Denver Broncos fan. He says, I wish Dobbins didn't get sent over to Denver. Makes this rookie pick a little less fun to draft, which I disagree with. I think R.J. Harvey's going to be a fine fantasy pick. But this is what I currently have the Broncos depth chart as. I could probably put Jaleel McLaughlin in at RB3. At that point, I think it's kind of heads or tails who you put in there. It doesn't really matter. You could put Jaleel McLaughlin or Audric Estime there. It's a coin flip. But 1 and 2 would look like that for at least week 1. But it is fun to think about and fun to speculate. So I'm going to ask you anyway. What week will R.J. Harvey become RB1? I have to stake my claim for week 4 or week 5. And again, it's never going to look like lead back, then clear number 2. Because different packages in the shotgun and under, a single back formation under center will garner different results. You might see J.K. Dobbins back here one time. You might see R.J. Harvey. But I think when you really start to see that it's R.J. Harvey's team in the backfield will be week 4 or week 5. Obviously, let me know in the comment section down below. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Remember, spam with those hashtag Broncos down in the chats. I will see you guys next time. As always, mile high salute. Be cool. Whew, it's getting hot in here. What's up? Oh, definitely, you would put money on that for sure. You would have to put money on that. You'd have to put money on that. Oh, there we go. Pardon me, I'm going to take a sip of water here, guys. My bad. Oh, that's so much better. That's so much better. We did get a super chat while we were doing that show there, Mr. Dilly Diller. So why don't we just throw it on up there, shall we? Yeah, no problem. No worries. We'll get that. I forget who that was. I have to go back up into the comment section. It was David who sent in a $5 super chat. Don't worry, David. We got you covered, my friend. We'll put you back up on the screen here in just a little bit. That puts us at $111 today on the live show. That's awesome. Can we get up to 125? Is that possible? That's $14. And I'll be sure that if you have a question, to be front and center on our Broncos mailbag. I'm all about making deals, Dylan. All about it. So if we get up to $125, that's that $14 super chat, right? $15 super chat, whatever it is. I'll throw them front and center on the Broncos mailbag. 64 people still watching in the chat. Here it is. Denver will smoke the 40 Whiners. I love that. David, you're a legend, my friend. Thank you so much for super chatting and supporting the show. It definitely means a lot. Definitely means a lot. Matthew Frey says, if JK stays healthy, he's not giving up the RB1 job unless RJ straight up earns it. I agree with you completely. He's got to earn it, but I think he will. I think you guys, one of my best wins of the 2025 draft, and I'm going to take full credit for this, because I have had a lot of losses, right? Every single sportscaster, every single YouTube podcaster that does football content like this, we've all had bad takes. One of my best takes was at the very beginning before the draft started. I said, RJ Harvey will go before the third round. I didn't know he was going to go to the Broncos, but I believed that highly in him. I said, I cannot believe how many teams are sleeping on this guy. He's unbelievable. And you know why? It's because the team in the conference that he played for. It's because he played for USF, and it's because, or UCF, sorry, not USF. UCF, that's my bad, Central Florida. And the conference that he played in, what is that, the American Conference or the CUSA? It's one of the two. It's really weak. It's really weak. They don't play a lot of top-tier talent. So clearly they were like, well, he put up awesome numbers, but what was the competition like? I said from day one, I'm like, this dude is a stud. Somebody's going to draft him before the third round. Lo and behold, the Broncos draft him in round 2, and I double fist pumped. I was so stoked. All right, let's throw up that list 3 real quick, though, Dilly, and make sure that they get their hashtag Broncos questions in for today's mailbag. There it is. Bang! What do you guys think of the show so far? You liking it? You having fun? I always want to make sure that you guys are having fun. What'd you say? Do we have a low amount of questions? Or do we have a good amount? A lot of hashtag Broncos? Oh, yeah, let's do... Oh, sorry, that's my bad. I didn't even realize that. Oh, that's my bad. All right, let's get some questions in here with hashtag Broncos. Dwight Gamer's definitely getting into it. Make sure that when you use hashtag Broncos, it has a question attached to it, because that will pull into our system, and Dylan will be able to get that up on screen for us. Bobby, if you could ask a question, that'd be great. Ooh, Broncos Unchained had a good one. Banger as always, says Joshua. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. Claude says me. Let's get some more questions in here, guys. Let's get 3 or 4 more questions before we start our Broncos mailbag today. Remember, we're trying to get up to $125 in super chats. We're at 111. All we need is that one person to take us over the edge. $14 more. Bang! There it is. Love that. We're $5 away, Dylan. Because Mark, the birthday boy, he's going to be featured right at the very front. He's coming in with a $9 super chat. Everybody spam Mark and say happy birthday to him in the comment section down below. Yeah, just real quick. Real quick, and then we'll feature that on... we're going to feature you, Mark, on our Broncos mailbag. Looking forward to see tight end Caden Prescorn in preseason. How about you? I'll save my answer for the mailbag. But I appreciate your your $9 super chat, excuse me. That gets us $5 away from our goal, which I greatly appreciate to you. Shout out, Mark, and happy birthday. All right. Dilly. I think we've got enough of a hashtag Broncos here. We should be good. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this Saturday. Oh, almost forgot. Big announcement here on the channel. You ready for this? So I have talked a lot about my engagement here on the channel. Spoilers, I'm still getting married. There it is. They nailed it. Bang, bang. So anyway, as I was saying, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. So originally, the plan was that I was not going to make it back for the first watch party against the Tennessee Titans. There weren't any flights that I could find that would get me in early enough. The earliest flight was like 10 a.m., and it had like a 3-hour layover. It just wasn't going to work. Funny enough, there was a flight that opened up at 6:30 in the morning, Sunday morning. Direct flight from Minneapolis, where I'm getting married, to back in Dallas, and which is it's to Love Field, so it's only like a 25-minute drive. Guess who's going to be here week 1 against the Tennessee Titans? Moosey is. We're going live for week 1, baby. We're going live for week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. We will be here covering that game, watch party and all. I'm going to be here, ready for you. And then Broncos Unchained coming in with the $10 super chat. Legend. Right there. Bossman Jay, Broncos Unchained. Doesn't matter what you want to call him. He's a real one. Super fan of the show. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. All right, Dylan. Without further ado, let's do it. Let's get into it. And let's get into our Broncos mailbag. Welcome in Broncos country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose on today's mailbag edition, which airs every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Before we get started, got a big favor for you to ask. We're trying to beat our like record of June, which was over 20,000 likes. And every time you hit that thumbs up button, it drives us closer and closer to our goal. So do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up icon and help grow the channel. Let's start off with the birthday boy at the time of this recording, Mr. Mark Baker, with the $9 super chat. He said, looking forward to seeing tight end Caden Prieskorn in preseason. How about you? Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like this tight end room has a wide open gap for tight ends 2 and tight ends 3. Why? Because last year, the Broncos tight end room was a lot to be desired. Wasn't nearly good enough. Now, I realize that there was some growing pains with Bo Nix for the first 4 weeks, so maybe it wasn't all on the tight ends, but Caden Prieskorn seems to be one of those players that could find his way onto the 53-man roster if he balls out in preseason. So he is one of those players that, yeah, I could absolutely see if he has a great preseason, he could find his way on to being tight end 3, maybe? Why not? I appreciate your $9 super chat, Mark. Thank you so much and happy birthday. Broncos Unchained. Is it more important to keep an extra edge or a backup nickel? Just saying. That's an interesting take. I think with how good and how deep this Broncos pass rush room is, I think right now it's more backup nickel. Because remember, it's a passing league. You want guys that can play in a pinch, that can stabilize the position, that aren't going to get beat over the top, that can cover and blanket opposing wide receivers. So what you really are asking me is, are you prioritizing getting after the quarterback more, or are you prioritizing stopping the pass more in the backfield? And I think with how good the Broncos pass rush is right now, I think the answer is a backup nickel. But Broncos Unchained, I appreciate your question as always. Thanks for being a super fan of the show. Dwight the Gamer. Have you seen the Yahoo Sports article that Sean Payton says the 2025 Broncos are the 7th team he believes can win the Super Bowl? Extra note, Bo Nix posted an off-season YouTube video. Yeah, I saw Bo Nix's video. It's super hype. It's awesome. I love it. I'm so excited to see where his career goes. I think it's exactly where you want to see him be heading into the 2025 season. But the first part of your question, yes, I have seen that. And I think Sean Payton knows that the Super Bowl window for this team has just recently opened, and it's going to stay open for as long as the Broncos can not only stay healthy, but prioritize its core. And they've done that. 5 out of the 6 players that I believe are the core of the Denver Broncos are under new contracts. The only one, with the exception, is Bo Nix, who's on his rookie deal. So if that's the spot that you're in a hell of a great place to be. Dwight, appreciate you getting on the show, my friend. Joshua, How much more do you think Benito's contract will be than Allen's and Sutton's? I think it'll be another 4-year contract, around 108 to 116 million, with 60 to 80 guaranteed, 27 to 29 annually. You're not far off. I think you're overestimating it a little bit. I originally predicted it somewhere between $24 and $26 million per year, which would put him right around $100 million. So I think it's actually going to be slightly lower, but it depends on when they pay him. Because if they don't pay him until halfway through the season, that number could go up. The market is being reset all the time. So, obviously, you want to prioritize paying him earlier rather than later. But if we're going by what you think, which is, hey, maybe it doesn't happen right away, maybe it's halfway through the season, maybe it's after the season, then yeah, you could be looking at somewhere in the $27 to $29 million range. Either way, everything's going to be dependent on what Micah Parsons does and what he gets, and also what the rest of the edge rushers who are ending up or starting their contract negotiations also get. Appreciate it, Joshua, for getting on the show. Danny, if you had to rank the off-the-field advantages that the Denver Broncos have, what order would you put them? The richest owner in sports, Sean Payton, George Payton. So I'm going to go with yours. I'm going to go with your kind of ranking system here. I'm going to say the most important thing that you need is a good head coach. The on-the-field product is the most important thing. So I'm going to go Sean Payton 1. Then I'm going to go the richest owner in sports, someone that can absolutely fund the checks that are being given out. And then I'm going to say George Payton would be number 3. That doesn't mean he's the least important out of all of this, but time and time again, if you have a really, really good coach that is developing players and runs a brilliant scheme, you can almost coach in a lot of players. So where George Payton would actually come in would be more so being on the same page as Sean Payton, working in tandem with Sean Payton. You see this quite frequently. Like right now, if I were to ask you who's the more important person for the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson or Ryan Poles, I think the answer is clear. It's Ben Johnson. But thanks, Danny, for getting on the show. Hey, we got Miles on the show. Great to see you. Who's the biggest trade candidate heading into week 1? John Franklin Myers. And I don't take a lot of pleasure saying that because he's a really good player. But in terms of who could garner the most trade value right now for the Broncos, it's easily JFM. 100%. Because of what he did last year and what he's going to command in the offseason with his contract. I don't even know if the Broncos are going to pay him. It's just one of those things like it's a wait-and-see situation. But the Broncos prioritized paying other guys, and John Franklin Myers remains to be seen. Now, again, last year, coming off of one of the best seasons of his entire career. 8 tackles for loss. He had 7 sacks. PFF grade was through the roof. But remember, you can't pay everyone, and JFM wants a new contract. So, in order to clear up some cap space and potentially get back some draft capital, and hopefully he gets his new contract, kind of looking like he might be the trade candidate for this Broncos team. The highest, at least in my opinion. So I'll ask you, will JFM get traded this season? Yes or no? If I had to stake my claim on it right now, I'd probably think and lean towards yes. But either way, you let me know in the comment section down below why you think so or why you think not. Bobby, who do you think emerges as our wide receiver 2 by the end of the year? Or is Coach Payton's offense more of a revolving door? No, absolutely, I think there's going to be a wide receiver 2. I think it's Troy Franklin. Everything that you're seeing from Broncos training camp, all of the news, all of the highlights, all of the standouts are all attached to his name. Payton is saying it. The reporters are saying it. His teammates like Marvin Mims are saying it. He's had an unbelievable offseason. It's just going to be a matter of how much better did he get. So I do think right now it's easily Troy Franklin that could slide into that spot. I know guys like Devon Vele have the size advantage over him, but I really think that he could become an unbelievable slot receiver for the Broncos heading into 2025. Thanks, Bobby. Celestial. I'd love to see Loner play this year, but do you think that's likely even if it's just a small role? Unfortunately, I think right now it might be too much to overcome his ability to learn the game. I don't know that he's got a spot on this 53-man roster, at least year one. Could he be a practice squad player for the first year? Just sit and develop your skills? Maybe. I just don't know how much he's going to carve out, considering tight end 2 and tight end 3 are pretty much covered by Kroll and Troutman, and obviously Evan Ingram commanding that tight end 1 position. I hope he can prove that he's got some talent and that he can find some time on the field. I just don't know how much it's going to be. But it's going to be fun to watch. Thank you. Would you play Barron over Moss week 1? I'm coming around to the idea that no. I think Jade has to stay in the slot corner. I think you have to start Riley Moss on the outside, on the opposite end of Pat Surtain, and I think Jade has to start at the nickel corner, which means Jaquan McMillan would be the first one that takes the bench role. Hope that helps. Before we get into our final few questions, and Dilly, let's do 2 or 3 more. I've got to tell you guys about this amazing deal with the Broncos hoodie that is on sale right now, 40% off. All you got to do is go to chatsports.com/Broncos hoodie. If you do that, you will get this amazing deal. But it's not just the hoodies, my friends. You can get plenty of other stuff as well. Jerseys, shirzies, hats, or gloves. Just use the link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video and start shopping with Fanatics today. All right, before we get into our next questions, I just do want to give a very special shout out to everybody that has already joined the Broncos Breakdown community. If you want to get featured on our next mailbag, just use #Broncos to get started. Zach, what player or players do you see breaking out this year? Troy Franklin on offense for sure. I'll give you one of each. One on offense, one on defense. Troy Franklin on offense. And defense? Give me Riley Moss. Riley Moss has had a great camp. I really think you're going to see him take the next step and solidify that cornerback 2 spot. I know that Sean Payton has talked a lot about getting Jade reps on the outside, and I think you might see that as a rotational design. But I also think that Riley Moss understands that he needs to keep his position. And I think he's going to work tremendously hard and prove to everybody that he can stabilize that CB2 spot. Michael, how many touchdown passes will Bo Nix throw in the 2025 NFL season? Touchdown passes? 33. Total touchdowns? 35. I think he has 2 on the ground as well, which would be really fun. 35 touchdowns, that would be more than 2 a game. So I think touchdown passes 33. I think rushing passes 30, or rushing touchdowns, 2. So 35 total. All right, one more, Dilly, and then we will end today's mailbag. Thank you, Michael, by the way, for getting on the show. I greatly appreciate it. You're a real one and have always been a big fan of the channel. One more time for Broncos Unchained. Everyone says Bo can win Offensive Player of the Year if he takes us to the Super Bowl, and Peyton can win Coach of the Year for the same. That's all decided before postseason. Yeah, but at the same time, I think you have to look at it and you have to say to yourself, the narrative around these awards would be something that, probably could be dictated a little bit more as the postseason goes on, especially going into the offseason. That's when all of the opinions start to get formulated around these two, or for these specific these specific awards. But I like where your head's at. I totally understand it. But again, thanks for getting in on the show as well, Broncos Unchained. You're a real one. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to like the video if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And as always, be cool. We got another $10 super chat. David coming in with the $10 super chat. You're a legend, David. Appreciating you, my friend. Nothing there, though, Dilly. Whap, whap, whap. But again, every little bit helps, and I greatly appreciate it, my friends. Thank you so much for supporting the show, supporting the channel, supporting me and producer Dylan. Hopefully with more Super chats as the season goes along. We can hire another we can hire another team member here that can be a specific Broncos-only producer. That's my next goal, to get my own producer for this show so that we're not having a revolving door of different producers. As much as you do a great job, Dilly, you've got your hands full with Vikings and Jets. All right. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining today's show. I greatly appreciate you stopping by. Remember, the next time that we go live will be for Broncos football. Just revel in it for a second. It's going to be a whole lot of fun this season. I get it. It's preseason. I understand. In the grand scheme of things, doesn't mean a lot. But we have Broncos football back this week, my friends. And I can't wait to share that experience with you. Remember to like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join the 37,000, almost 38,000 strong and climbing. And as always, be cool.